If you can love yourself, it's walking, let's go, huh? If you can love yourself, you can't love nobody else. If you can't love yourself, you can't love nobody else. If you can't love yourself, you can't love nobody else. If you can't love yourself, you can't love nobody.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Teaching Styles. Today we have a very special episode. It's Teacher Appreciation Week, and we have a very special episode where we're going to be talking to a few teachers from different parts of the country, and just talking about our experiences. So welcome to the Teacher Summit, and I'm going to have everybody come up here and introduce themselves. And we're going to start off with someone who's very important to my career as a teacher, and I'm gonna bring him up right now.
Hey,
What's going on?
how you doing?
How's it going? You want to just tell us who you are, what school district you teach in, and what do you actually teach?
Sure. My name's Brian Hoke. I've been teaching at Summit Academy in Romulus, Michigan, which is really close to Metro Airport. If you've ever flown to Detroit, for 22 years. Over those 22 years, I've taught a wide variety of classes, including some strange classes like ice hockey, history, honors history, um, film interpretation, speech, the history of rock and roll, which has been a really cool class to teach. This year, I'm teaching the history of sports, and kids really like that. A lot of those classes that I turn into electives are more like English classes in disguise, where they'll do a lot of reading and writing, but just about things that are more interesting, I think, to them. And then I've also directed over 20 shows, some musicals, some plays, some improv. Over the last maybe 15 to 20 years, I've taken, I think, over 2,000 students to Europe too, and South America, Central America, Asia now.
And that's all part of your history curriculum, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's been like a career that just, has been so rewarding for so long. I've seen a lot of changes in kids too,
Sure. Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of a little bit about my teaching career. I have three boys, married. My oldest is getting married this summer, which I'm pretty excited about.
Oh,
And then,
congratulations! And he's a Chippewa.
yeah,
No,
that's
so
right. And then my middle son's about to graduate from Western Michigan, where
okay.
I went. And then
Yeah,
my
you
youngest,
chose the wrong school, but it's cool.
and then my youngest son is autistic, and he's non-communicative, but communicates with an iPad. And
Oh,
he, I guess I'll end it with this. He's never said a word to me, but he's taught me more than anybody I've ever met.
mm,
You know, so
love that.
that's a little bit about me.
Thank you for joining us today, man. I'm gonna bring up another colleague. I've probably known her the least amount of time, but she's been one of the dopest teachers I ever met. I'm gonna let her go ahead and introduce herself. Hello.
Hi, I cannot hear you guys. I don't know
Really?
if you can hear me, but I cannot hear you. Um I've tried everything. I heard the intro, I heard the song, and as soon as you started talking it went out.
Uh
So, should
oh.
I like come back in? Like
Let's try
log and
that.
come back
Let's
out? Okay,
leave.
all right, I'll do
Leave and
that.
come
All
back.
right.
Okay. Cool. That's all right. We're gonna spin the block on that. But until then, when she comes back, we're gonna go ahead and bring up another colleague of mine. Uh, let's see. She's ready. How you doing?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear
Okay.
us?
Yes. Um,
Awesome. You want to introduce yourself? How long you been teaching? What district that you teach in, and what do you teach?
okay, so I'm Jasmine Lavender Brown. I am from Alabama. My husband and I we relocated up here about it'll be 6 years in this July.
Okay.
When we first got up here, I was teaching in Montgomery County. And then we moved, and now I'm in Baltimore. So I teach at a school in Baltimore, Maryland. Um, Coming up on my fourth year there, I teach U.S. history and African American history. Well, I was teaching African American history my my first year there.
Hmm.
And then now they have an African American history teacher who's also teaching AP African American history, whatever. So yeah, I teach U.S. history. I love it. I did not focus primarily on history in college. I had a minor in history. But yeah, I've always enjoyed history. I prefer to watch documentaries, and I hate TV. um, yeah. So yeah, I've been at my current school for the last 4 years. It's in Baltimore, Maryland. Um, and yeah, I love teaching. Um, I am slowly transitioning to higher ed. I
Okay.
would want to teach in higher ed. Teaching, in high school was never really my goal and focus. It kind of just fell into my lap. But I knew I did not want to teach like little kids. So I was like, okay, I'll teach, high school until I finish my program, and then I'll transition to higher ed. So that's what's going on, and I've kind of fallen in love with it. I still have my eye on the prize of college because I'm a better lecturer in my opinion. But yeah, so that's a little bit about me.
Well, thank you also for joining us. Um, Miss Boone, Jessica, I can see you. So just nod your head if you can hear us. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna bring you up. She's here. She's good. There we go.
Yes, I'm here. I can hear you guys.
All
Great.
right. Yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself. Where you from? What school district you teach in? How long you been teaching, and what do you teach?
Okay, I'm Jessica. I am in the Baltimore City Public School District, and I have been teaching for a long time. I've been in education for about 14 years now. I started off as a contractor teaching sex education. I was teaching kids and adults sometimes how to protect themselves from acquiring HIV, STDs, and being teen parents. And that turned into me becoming a full time teacher with the district. I went in to initially teach health because that's what my background was in. And then they saw that I was bilingual, so I ended up teaching Spanish. So I taught
Hmm.
Spanish for about 6 to 7 years. And then I left and I went to the Archdiocese. So I taught in a Catholic school for about a year. Then I came back to my current school where I teach English. And so I've taught pretty much every grade except for 10th grade in my building, as far as English, and I also teach an AP class. So yeah, that's pretty much my background. I love teaching. And like Jasmine said, I really just came up with this idea today as I was at work, about transitioning into higher ed. So that is the path that I am on now. I've taught and serviced so many students in the Baltimore City District. Some of my students are married, and they have kids, and they have gone on to do like great things. And now I see them at parties and stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm getting old. I literally have been teaching since I was like 20. So it's just been a beautiful experience. So I'm just ready to make that transition.
That's dope. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for
And
having me.
then last but not least, we got one more person. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce him as well. A brother of mine, probably one of the first people I met when I moved to the Baltimore. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna let him go ahead and introduce himself. How you doing, brother?
Good evening, brother. Good evening to all of you for real. My name is Jared Thomas. I've been teaching for about, golly, it's about 12 years now. My first year I was in Baltimore City, and then the remaining like
Uh-oh. Might have
Um,
lost it.
Oh man.
all I know is middle school. I've taught sixth grade. I taught seventh grade. I taught eighth grade. All social studies. So I've taught U.S. History 1, which I'm teaching now for currently in eighth grade. Um, I've taught U.S. World cultures, the Eastern Hemisphere, Western Hemisphere. I've taught a lot. I've done a lot, but just know like social studies all middle school. But this year I'm focused on eighth grade. I went to Coppin State. That's where I got my bachelor's. I got my master's degree
Yay!
from Loyola University for real. I actually live in the Baltimore area. I'm from the Baltimore area. I went to school in the Baltimore area. And that's for elementary, middle, high school, college, graduate school. But let's not get it twisted. I am cultured. I've been to places. I've been outside of 695. I've been way down south. I've been out to the Midwest. I've been to the Northeast. So I kind of know a little something for real. Um, it's been an experience, and it's like I just really enjoy the piece of the classroom because people look at me and be like, "You still teaching? You still in the classroom?" Like, absolutely, I love it. You won't catch me up in leadership, at least not yet. I'm too young for that. It's still a lot for me to learn. I feel like, in my opinion, to make an impact at that level, but that's just me. We all got a different path. We all have like we're all like trying to do something different for real, trying to teach these children.
Thank you for joining us too, my brother. All right, I'm going to try to switch these panels out real quick. Give me 1 second. Boom. I think I like the other one better. Did y'all like this layout better or the other one?
The other one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
it's
Yeah.
a little clearer. There we go. Okay, awesome. All right, so it's Teacher Appreciation Week, and as you all know, this is a very, very thankless job, and so I just wanted to give us the opportunity as teachers to shout out an educator or two that may have inspired you during your time as a student, and anyone can start this off.
I'll start. I would like to give a shout out to Mr. Gordon. Actually, it's two people. Mr. Tim Gordon. Mr. Gordon, he was the one who pushed me into teaching. I had no like desire to be a teacher at all. Like when I say zero on the list, it was
Mhm.
zero. Like I wanted to be a rapper. That's what I wanted to be. And he was like when he saw me teaching as a contractor, teaching and navigating through some of the adversities that the kids were facing. He was like, I need to get you in my school. And I was like, you want me to do what? You want me to teach history for real? And so I taught it and I loved it. And I ended up following Mr. Gordon to all of the schools he's been at except for the one he's at now. So he is the reason why I am a teacher. And then also I would like to give a huge shout out to Mr. Thomas Dean. Mr. Dean was my SAT prep coach and he really instilled a lot of life into me while I was in high school. Just telling me how important the SAT is, and even though he wanted me to go to Morgan, I went to Coppin and he was upset, but he definitely played a huge role in my I guess my education as far as me. So Tim Gordon and Mr. Dean, those are my two.
All right, shout out Mr. Gordon and Mr. Dean.
I have I have three really quick ones,
Okay.
and two that AJ knows. One, my mentor teacher that mentored me, and then I became AJ's mentor teacher, and I had I think 6 or 7 other teachers that I mentored, and that was always really meaningful to me. So my mentor teacher is one, Ann Chapman, who is our band leader. You might remember,
Yes, Miss Chapman. Yeah.
who's literally the best teacher, and not only like the best teacher organizing a band and making a band sound beautiful. That sounds terrible in the beginning, and I teach right next to her, so I hear them like they're awful in the beginning. They're like halfway through the year, I'm like they sound like Beethoven. It's like crazy, and
Mhm.
then the way she communicates with kids, just the whole combination of her. She's like the best teacher in the building. I get to teach right next to her for 20 years. She has a huge influence on me. And then Harry Van Gelder, who I think you might remember, he used to teach. He just retired, but he just always had that positive attitude every day, no matter what. And
Mhm.
JJ said we all go through bad days, but he never seemed to like really show it. Like you'd go have a conversation. It was like, yeah, great. You know what I mean? He just always made me feel like he lifted me up. You know what I mean? So I needed all three of those people to be the teacher that I want to be. So that's
Yeah.
it for me. Yep.
Awesome.
I would say my choir director, my junior year of high school. She had actually taught both of my parents um, in high school, and I feel like she was the first Black female educator that just had a lasting impact on me. We were about the same height, same complexion. She was stern. She was always dressed every single day. She would say some of the craziest stuff to the kids, but it came out of love, and she had that relationship with them. She could sing
Mm.
her butt off. Um, and she just saw me for me. She always spoke to me, and into me. Again, as Jess said, it was never about like her pushing me towards education, but she always said, whatever you do, do it well. And so
Mm.
she taught me how to just present myself well at all times. She was a lady of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And again, she just embodied, this the whatever perception I had of what like a bad female was, like she was that, and she was educated. She was educated. And so I just fell in love with her. And then after I graduated high school, I went off to college, and a year into my program, she ended up coming and being the choir director at my college, which was
Mm.
so crazy. And we ended up seeing each other at an award ceremony. And she was like, "Is that Jazz?" And I was like, "Oh my God, Dr. Richardson." And she was like, "You have to be in my choir. I need you as a soprano. And so like I got a scholarship on the spot. It was truly crazy how it played out. But till this day, she's still a part of my life. And I always remind her any chance I get, like, you truly, I don't know how you are, like 16 or 17, but she really taught me how to be an educated Black woman and how to show up in the workspace, and how to never, put myself down to make someone else feel better. She was that girl. She's in her 80s now, but she was that girl. So yeah.
Shout out Miss Richardson. Okay.
For sure.
What's up, Jared?
All right, so at least to want me to be a teacher for real, I want to at least shout out the entire Doris and Johnson history department for real. I want to shout them out, but there are three distinct individuals out of there. I want to say rest in peace to Mr. Sean Latanishin. He really had invigorated my passion for history. My ninth grade U.S. history teacher, 10th grade constitutional law teacher. And then Mr. Alan Dunklow, he was my U.S. history since 1945 teacher, and he was also my U.S. government teacher. Helped me get one of the highest scores in the entire school on that government HSA. And then, oh goodness, what's his name? Mr. Douglas. He helped me get $16,000 for school. So shout out to Mr. Douglas. He's still teaching today. Mr. Michael Douglas.
Love that. And that copping, that's you. That's good money. That copping.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. Listen,
that pays
listen,
for the
I'm trying to
year
tell you.
almost.
Man, I almost could pay for copping out the pocket. Almost.
Right.
Yeah, so I will also chime in too. So I have probably I will give three answers as well. So for my three, specifically, in high school there was a teacher, math teacher. Um, because I was just a knucklehead in high school. I'll just get that out the way. I wasn't
No
the greatest
way.
kid. I wasn't the greatest kid in school. And a part of it was just that, especially in elementary and middle school, I just wasn't challenged. They found out, I was doing, to get me to shut up. They would just give me work from a higher level class. Like, here's the eighth grade work. You're in sixth grade, but here's eighth grade work to do. Whatever. But And everybody thought I was gonna be a comedian when I graduated. Like that was my job. Was you just gonna be a comedian or a garbage worker, whatever? And it was a teacher by the name of Mr. Gombert, math teacher. We called him Master Roshi because he looked like Master Roshi from Dragon Ball Z. And I remember him stepping up and being like, "Hey man, listen, if you stay away from these knuckleheads, I want you to get into this math, do this math. I think that you'll be a great programming director, program designer, all of that stuff." And I'm like, "All right, nah, that ain't for me." But because he challenged me, I did the work. Um, when I got to college, in college, Mr. Dr. St. John, that was his name. He was the math professor. He was also my advisor for my degree. Again, another person that pushed me. I want to say that I kind of hated him a little bit though, because when I got to my first year of teaching, this dude was like, "You're gonna save these kids," da da da. When I got to my first year of teaching, I'm like, man, I felt so defeated. Like, and he was like, "Yeah, like because and also too, we'll be in math classes, and these are like theory classes, right? So we're in these math classes, theory, talking about how to teach algebra one, geometry, da da da. And I'm just sitting here like, oh, well, this how we do it in the hood though. And he'll just be sitting there like, oh my God, I love that perspective. You should bring that perspective to that. And like it was great at the time. And of course I've learned to use that since then to apply it to my teaching style. But that first year of teaching, I hated him, bro. I hated it. I was like, man, none of this stuff that you taught me applies to the now. And I realized there were some things that I had to like there was just some things about my philosophy that I had to shape for education. And so I just want to shout him out though, because he was a big part of who I am today. And then third, this is gonna sound like me kissing ass, I know, but Mr. Hope. Mr. Hope was my mentor teacher, man. And I think that being in his classroom, I learned a lot of things. My minor, I was a double major, so I majored in math, but I also majored in speech education, and it was hard finding a placement for speech, and so he was a history teacher mainly, but he had electives in film and education. In film education and drama, and he allowed me to teach those two classes, even though that was probably the highlight of his day was that. And now he had to teach all the history classes only, and it was like, yo, man, listen, thank you so much. But yeah, it was a lot that I learned during that year. It was some, and we talked before. The first thing that he ever taught me, I'll tell you guys when we offline. First thing he ever said to me, y'all will laugh when y'all hear it. But um yeah, so those are the three people that really, I wanted to give a shout out to for teacher appreciation. But let's keep it going. Um, when it comes to being a teacher, we know how hard it is. It's not the best paying job in the world for sure. Um, the appeal of it seems to be dropping the amount of people who are going into the teaching workforce today. Um, how do you guys feel about that? Like the optics of what it looks like to be a teacher now, and the people who are going to college now and what they decide to study in school. Like, how do you guys feel about the disconnect? I guess I would say, as far as like younger people going into the teaching workforce.
Um, I would say from my perspective, this will probably be different from what everybody else would say, but I feel like the optics of it, it gives all the students are bad. Teaching is horrible. The kids are out of control. Don't become a teacher. But I can honestly say from my experience, my issues really didn't come from the students. It came from
Mm-hmm.
higher up. So anybody that's getting into teaching, I would like for them to go into it with an open mind. And if you be your authentic self, you will grasp the attention, you will grasp the hearts of the students. But then you also have to understand that you're not just in the building for the students, but you also have to navigate how to deal with administrators in the district.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my sequel.
That's a good point.
I want to agree with that myself for real, because I want to say like, there's a lot of people say like, oh, these children are bad, these students are bad. I hear that a lot, and then I always tell myself, especially like when a child does something that is not pleasant, I say they made a poor decision. I don't believe that these children are bad. It's just some children make poor decisions, and that's because they've been in environments where that's maybe the only thing that they know. So of course, it's our job to teach them what's right from wrong for real. So it's like our colleague has said. It's like you have to come into this with an open mind. You can't just come in here saying these children bad, because then you won't come in here with a negative mindset. You won't make yourself stressed out because you're gonna look at things from a biased viewpoint per
Mm-hmm.
se for real. And then two people say like the pay is bad. You had to well, I was blessed because where I live in one of the higher paying states in this country. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like also at the same time, do your research, but you can't be afraid of putting in just a little bit of extra work. Yeah, you can lead a club, coach a team. Yeah, you can do that, get the little side money like that. People don't talk about those extra professional development
Mm-hmm.
credits, those
That's a
graduate
good
level
point.
courses. Some of these
Mm-hmm.
courses, you pay a little fee. Yeah, you might get a little discount, but you can add that to your little portfolio. That's more credits on the back end. And I tell people all the time, the more education you have, the more bread you want to make. That's why I stress to my
Mm-hmm.
students, go to school, either go to college or get a certification. But like I said, you can't look at the children a certain way. The pay is not that bad. Don't let people say teachers are broke. I mean, yeah, we could use the money. Or listen, I'm trying to tell you, because I earned my check today. I've been earning my check all week, and it's the fourth quarter. I shouldn't be earning my check the way I am, but it's fine. It's what I'm paid to do, and it's what I love doing. But like those are my two things right there.
Okay, I like that. Anybody want to add anything else before we move on?
Yeah,
Oh, can I
um,
add one more thing? I don't mean to take up the time. Teaching can be a six-figure career. Okay?
Yeah,
We'll
Teaching
leave it at
can be
that.
a
we'll
six-figure
leave it
career.
at
And I think a lot of people
We'll
don't
leave it
know
at that.
that, but it can be a six-figure career. That's all I got to say about that.
We'll leave it there.
go ahead, JJ.
Just
I'm good. Yeah,
you sure?
yeah. We'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. So again, this is Teacher Appreciation Week. So I want to know, in what ways have you felt appreciated as a teacher, or you felt like you've appreciated other colleagues?
Oh,
Um, oh, sorry.
go ahead.
So it's senior week, where I work,
Mhm.
and well, yeah, it's senior week. Technically, their last day, in the classroom was last Friday. So this week they're on campus, just to participate in some activities that their teachers in the school has set up for them. Usually my door is locked on my planning period because I don't want to talk to anybody,
Mhm.
come at a different time. So I had a knock on the door, and then the door opened and one of my students walked in, and I'm like, oh my God, how did I leave my door open or whatever? But he came in, he was like, hey, Miss Selby, you weren't here Friday because my son was sick. And so he was like, you weren't here Friday, and I wasn't even gonna come this week, but I had to see you. And I was like, okay, or whatever. And he was just like, I just want to say that you mean a lot to me. Thank you for staying on me. And he was like, I don't think I've ever told you my story. And so, I stopped what I'm doing, and he begins to share with me, his background and just how
Mhm.
hard it was for him. And he was only at our school for 2 years because he was a transfer in his sophomore year. But he just let me know like his parents had given up on him, everyone had given up on him. But I continued to push him, and he was like, I mean, you tell it like it is, you're hard ass, but like I needed that, and you just don't know how much you pushed me, And so he was like, I'm so happy, I'm graduating, and you're one of the teachers I have to thank for that. And I keep it G, I keep it G, but I mean, I had so many tears in my eyes because first of all, I've never heard this student speak like that. Like he's hard, and I get that. And we have a relationship, but again, he's never said these soft words or whatever. But just to hear him say that meant a lot to me, because going back to what we were previously speaking on, teaching is hard. Like, I'm gonna keep it a book now. Teaching is hard, and you're not gonna always feel like it's paying off. Like, sometimes you're gonna feel like the kids don't care, and all of that, especially when you're in high school. So again, just to hear him say that, and to express that to me and say, like, I had to see you. You weren't here Friday, but I had to get this out to you, because he didn't know if I was coming to graduation. It meant a lot to me. And I was so excited to come home and share that with my husband, because I was like, oh my God, you're not gonna believe what so and so, because I speak about some of my kids or whatever. But yeah, that made me feel special. And I think I needed that. It's the end of the year, and I think teacher fatigue is real, you know. And so yeah, I definitely needed that, and I appreciate that.
Love that.
I mean, over the 22 years that I've been teaching, producing plays and taking kids on, like, 2 week long trips, to Europe and to different places around the world. I've had so many people write me letters, and I have them because I don't really like to talk about myself. So I post pictures of, like, myself, my kids, my family, little letters from students, pictures of things students have done in the corner of the room, and a lot of those letters are right there. And I remember one of the letters was me giving she was 72 years old, and she was the grandmother of a student, and they went to Europe on the student's sweet 16th birthday, where we went up the Eiffel Tower, and she mentioned that in the letter,
Aw.
and just so many just like letters like that, and over the course of time, and I'm looking at 3 students that we've lost too, over the course of time, and all of their families. Um, I don't know. This whole conversation has been making me think about them for some reason. I guess it's just connecting with just really real teachers and real educators, and thinking about my career. And whenever I think about my course of my career, I think about those 3 that we lost in different ways. But anyway, I really appreciate your time, everybody, and I like how everybody the realness of the conversation. So I'll leave it
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Anybody else want to share how they felt appreciated or appreciated others? We just gonna move on. Okay. Um. No, I also, I mean, I there was some kind of like some key words, trigger words, I think that I heard from a lot of you. One being relationships and having relationships with our students, and how that affects the way that we interact with them, right? And I kind of want to talk about that for a little bit. Relationships. How important is relationships, and does that matter more in some circumstances than maybe academics and the curriculum?
I think
Um,
it does. I think it does. In some instances, especially with the students that we serve, if you're teaching in an inner city school, sometimes those relationships will save a student's academic career. Um,
Hmm.
I remember when I first started teaching at the school that I was at in middle school, And I remember admin coming in, and I had a whole all about me PowerPoint presentation, and I expressed to the kids how I grew up in a neighborhood around the corner, how my dad, died of a drug overdose, how my mom suffered from mental health issues. And, they just saw me as this lady with heels on and makeup and lashes. And it was like, oh my gosh, like, how could you have gone through all of those things and you still turned out okay? So that's how I love to open up my classroom, especially when a new year starts. That's how you build a relationship, complimenting the kids on, what they have on, or just doing those get to know me sheets with the students. You have to build those relationships, because how can you tap into their mind if you haven't tapped into their heart? So I try to win the hearts of the students that I can. I try to win everybody's heart. And that does take time, that does take energy, but at the end of the day, it's worth it, because you'll be able to calm that student down when they are having a bad day, or you can push them in the right direction. You can encourage them to make better decisions instead of continuing to make the poor decisions. You can meet them where they are, and they will respect you because you took the time to build that relationship. Sometimes in the classroom, I don't get a chance to teach my lesson because I have to talk about real things that's going on in the world.
Sure. Yeah.
Their health, what are they eating, their mental health, how are they feeling, what's
Hmm.
going on at home, do you need a group to have, some group advice, how to dress for a job interview. It's just so many things that you have to, you can experience as a teacher, but those relationships, building the relationships definitely helps out.
Thank you.
You can't teach anybody that you don't know.
Mm.
You know, I mean, you really just you can't teach people that you don't know. I mean,
Clip
try to
that.
walk up to somebody and teach them something like an adult, and they'll be looking at you like, "Are you crazy?" You know. And then, so if you get to know people, then you can have a positive influence on them, and that's all we're trying to do as teachers. Because I don't think really any of us can really predict what any of these kids are going to be doing in the future, other than needing to be able to communicate well with other people,
Mhm.
being honest, upfront, understanding what a good decision is and a bad decision, understanding money, how important family relationships are, understanding that what happens in the past doesn't have to determine what happens in the future, because we all teach in, it seems like, pretty tough places and tough kids. And so they need to know that they don't have to relive the past. They can reinvent the future.
Hmm. That was good. Yeah.
I've been doing some thinking for real, like my everyday thing, and this is actually crazy. So it's like relationships build respect, respect builds discipline, and then
Mhm.
discipline builds routines. It's like I really need that because I teach eighth grade. Sometimes my children are all over the place. So it's like
Mm.
there are moments and times and days like today we got to get them back in order. I'm not gonna yell. I'm not gonna cuss. Like that part of my career, I've retired that, and that was at the year one. We all know how that year one blues go down. It's like this is year 12. I no longer have hair on my head, so that means like I need to be as calm as possible for real. So it's like I said, relationships. You got like our colleague has said, you gotta know who you teaching for real. Nothing is done
Hmm.
if you don't have no management. You gotta know who you talking to.
Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah. No, absolutely. I love that. Um, I'm gonna transition just a little bit because there was another trigger word that we talked about. So we were talking about um, the occupation, and I've heard a few voices say that well, not a few. Well, yeah, there's a few. Say that you know one of the bigger challenges of being a teacher is not necessarily the students, but the leadership, the admin, the adults. What is your opinion about that as far as it being a challenge, dealing with collaborating with administration?
I I think one of the biggest challenges are believing that as educators you all have the same goal.
Mm.
Um, and that you would all try to meet that goal the same way, with being student focused.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the times, like, you just realize, like, dang, like, you're the leader and you're visionless, or like
Mm-hmm.
you're the leader and you're not solution oriented, or I think that's what it is for me. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, you want to trust the leadership, you want to, support the leadership, but you're just like, dang, like, I thought we were all supposed to be on one accord. Um, and so it's crazy sometimes to see how some leadership kind of moves. Like, it's not student focused, it's not people oriented, it's not built on relationships. It's kind of just like, I'm gonna do what I want to do, which is wild. So
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, when we become educators, we're taught mostly how to deal with the kids. We're never really taught how to deal with the teachers or with those that are over us. So it
That's
throws
a
us
good
for a
point.
loop to get in, because we like, damn, like, okay, I know how to manage my class, I know how to do this, I know how to teach. I can teach my butt off, but it's extremely hard for me to deal with poor leadership. Like, we weren't taught that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Jasmine. We were not taught how to deal with poor leadership. And I think one of my biggest gripes with leadership, or in some cases, um, they forget how it is to be in the classroom. And I
That
think
part.
this is like a district level, and then when we talking about administrative level, they get so big headed and they forget, like, these things and these initiatives that you guys would like for us to put in place in the classroom. Like, have you guys even tested it out in your classrooms when you were teaching? Like, where's the evidence to support that this is actually going to work? Or,
Mm-hmm.
where are the supports in place to see, if this system is going to fail or if it's going to succeed? So I just think that sometimes leadership, they get far removed from the classroom and they forget how it is to be a teacher, or they don't have enough experience with being a teacher. Because I think you can be I think it's like 2 years you can be a teacher, and then you can go into leadership. That's not enough time in the classroom. That
Mm-hmm.
is not enough time in the classroom for you to go straight into leadership. So
Like
I
5 years
think,
might not be enough. Sorry.
yeah, it's just not. It's just not. You absolutely do not know all that you need to know. So I think the district has to do a better job with choosing leadership, and not just trying to throw anybody, in those in those positions. And leadership has to stop with the power tripping.
Mm-hmm.
Because without the teachers, you are nothing.
Yeah.
We make you look good. Like, I think that's what they forget. And we don't want any piece of a teacher appreciation week. Okay.
No.
Save the peace.
Or watered down eggs.
Water down eggs. We don't want it. We want real gifts. Okay. Real.
We
Real.
we've been treated pretty good the last couple of days, but I could say three things about leadership. One, I think teachers can be good even with bad leadership.
Mm-hmm.
In the classroom, because you don't
Yeah.
have to deal with your leader outside the classroom. You just have to deal with your kids, and
Mm-hmm.
it makes it harder. And it can make it easier. But two, um, admin, right? I haven't met really one that I would say is great. I've met
Mm-hmm.
some good ones, but not even a great one, man. Right?
Fair. That's fair.
That's one comment about admin. And then the last thing I'll say is, um, that's what I really appreciate about being a teacher, man. Is I don't really have to deal with too many other adults,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's it. you know,
Also,
Yeah.
teachers, we need to know our rights.
yeah,
Yeah.
Read the handbooks. Read the handbooks. We need
And
to know our
see,
rights, because admin knows that we don't read because we they know we don't know the rules, so they know how to get over. So we have to be up on our employee handbooks and our
yeah.
contracts
Mhm.
and unions.
Yeah. And see, that's the tough part, because like working at a charter school, like there aren't any unions, and I know, like, so like Jasmine, she's at Seed. Hope, he's at Summit. Summit, that's a charter. They
Yep.
don't have a union, right?
Nope.
No. So like that's the tough part, man. Like I know like being in Baltimore City, like part of the reason, I I can be sane in this profession is because of two things: unions and pension. And I'm like, but yeah, I think about, but like to kind of like go back to what Jazz and Jess were saying about leadership. Like I think for me in my personal experience in the last 10 years that I've been teaching, um, it it seems like leadership has been more about the optics than about the needs of the students. And that's just in my personal experience. Like, like
Yeah.
because I know like some of these people, like we've had me and Jasmine had a colleague who joined the leadership team for half a year, right? And like it felt like the colleagues turned on her because it's like, yo, you were just in the classroom and now you're doing this. We got a group chat without her. It just became, and then like she was like, yo, this is too much for me. And then she came back into the classroom like literally mid year. And then when I think about those things and I'm like, like it's hard because I think that when people go into leadership, obviously, like they're going into it with this idea of like they can cause a change that they want to happen, but usually it has to come with like this sacrifice or something, and or at least, like I said, this is just from observation. I've never been in a leadership role, and I feel like then it becomes more about the optics, what makes the school look good
Mhm.
versus what the students actually need, right? We can have a billion trips to go meet um, Bezos or whoever, you know what I'm saying? But and like we're taking a picture with the president of the United States, cool, because it looks good for social media or whatever. But what do the students want? What do they need? How are we accommodating that? Like, I know also most of us have been teaching over 7 years, right? So we came into this profession teaching a certain generation of students, and we
Mhm.
know how every generation, right? There's something different, and you have to learn to adapt, right? As teachers, I know before, right? Teaching Gen Z, I felt like it was easy, like, oh, okay, I just gotta, give them some technology base, put that in the class, in the lesson, whatever, and then just
Mhm.
keep it moving. With the new generation we got now, man, cell phones is everything, right? It's like they can't live without them, and it's like we got to figure out how to adapt to it. How do we incorporate AI into
Mhm.
lessons versus this idea of AI is the evil. It's this, it's that, and like I feel like it's hard to do that too, with when you have admin who not paying attention to those type of things and just more necessarily looking towards the optics. Um, but that's me on my getting off my soapbox.
Let me chime in on that leadership jump real quick then, real quick.
Absolutely.
So like from my perspective though, it's like good leadership. Like if you want to be a good leader, you got to be able to model like what it is your expectation is for real. Like if you want me
Bar.
to do something, you got
Uh-oh.
Oh man, he was getting good too.
Jared.
Dang.
Jared, we lost you. No, that was
Yeah.
good.
That was really good.
Uh-huh.
You there? I think I hear you, but we don't got the visual anymore. Jared, you there? Oh, you left. Okay, he'll probably come back. Um, but yeah, we're getting close to the end of time. I don't want to leave the admin convo if he comes back. Man, we definitely had some good.
I'm gonna say this before he comes back.
No problem.
I would agree with Brian. Like up until this year, I feel like I've never met like a really good admin, like
Mm.
like ever, like decent but not good. I really do mess with and really like my AP, the AP I have right now.
Sure.
Um, and it goes to what Jared was saying. I'm so happy he was saying I hope he comes back.
He's
But
here, but
he
I'm gonna
can
let
he like his walk matches talk. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
he can literally model what he's asking us to do. Like I have a hard time following you when you like just said like the evidence aren't there. And I'm a data girl. Like I have a master's in education policy. So like numbers, data, research, like that's my field, you know? And so it's like, okay, what research do you have to prove this? Or when have you tested this? You know what I'm saying? Like you just pulling stuff out the sky, which is it sounds good, you know, it looks good, but in reality, like this is never
That's why
possible.
this country's in trouble.
So yeah, you know, this is my first time seeing someone that it's like, okay, I kind of believe you. Like, okay, it's a little bit easier to follow you. But yeah, I'll agree. Like
Mhm.
up until this year, yeah, haven't seen it.
He's
We
back.
gonna let you get back on your
Oh yeah,
soapbox,
my
bro.
bad, my bad. I'm on my phone for real, so it's like when the call come through, it mess up everything. But yeah, so it's like a good leader like models everything. Like if you want me to do something, let me see how you do it. Let me
Hmm.
see what it is you expect of me or what you expect of us to do, and I can try my best to accomplish the same thing and potentially receive the same consequence for real. So it's like as teachers, we should be modeling for our students how certain tasks or skills should be done, so they can be or skills should be how they can be done, so they can be done the right way or a certain way. Like you want students to write a certain way when they take these little state assessments for real. You want them to write a paragraph. You want to make sure they indent. Am I correct? Spell the word correctly. Make sure they read it fluently and with comprehension and knowing what they're talking about. So it's
Hmm.
like you gotta show me what it is that you want. So I know for me, like I want my students to like write a certain way. I want them to put their name, first name, last name, today's date, class, section number on the upper left hand side of that paper. So I'm gonna do it with them. It's like you got to get in the mud for real. If you get in the mud with me, if you're
Yeah.
willing to get your hands dirty, all right, bet. I see you doing this. I know it can be done because I seen you do it. Now let me do it. And if I need some help, just come through and help. So modeling and support.
Mm. Yeah, I think we all agree that we need that.
Yes. The
Modeling and
modeling
support.
support.
Definitely
Modeling and
support.
support.
Definitely
Yeah,
support.
let's not forget the S word.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We could talk, and that's probably a whole episode by itself.
Oh man, listen, I'll
Uh,
start preaching for real.
all right, so we're running out of time. So I did have two questions I wanted to ask you guys before we part ways. And so we'll do like maybe a minute for the first one, and then just real quick for the last one. Okay. So in a minute, what are some things that you felt like school should have taught you, but they didn't when you were coming into school, and from the perspective of a teacher?
How to handle money.
The
How to,
big one,
yeah.
the
How
big
to,
one, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Personal hygiene.
Mm.
Mm, yeah. Anybody else got any ideas of some things that you wish school would have taught you when you were?
Emotions versus logic, making
Mm,
decisions. I mean, I think you
S-
should learn that at home, but I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
you can hit on it a little bit.
they call it SEL now, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
social emotional learning.
Mm,
Yeah. No, I think the biggest is financial literacy, right?
Yeah.
Like how
absolutely.
to like we speaking back to what Jess was talking about, like 'cause she was saying that there is times where she don't get through a lesson because she's teaching life skills. I remember just recently, maybe 2 weeks ago, um, I was in algebra 2, and we literally were just talking about buying homes and what that comes with, right? Like the whole idea of what it means to buy a house. And I was telling them like, yo, I just spent $1,000 on some porch steps. Like it's porch steps, bro. Like, yeah. And I was like, it's $1,000 project. And they're like, yeah, Mr. Jones. And they looked at the steps and they're like, yeah, I think you probably overspent on that. And I'm like, man, those steps last for 20, 30 years. Oh, you right, you right. So maybe that was smart, and like getting them thinking about things like that, and just like what like, yeah, you know, you get an apartment, you have maintenance can come out and take care of things, but when you buy a house,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so like, you know, those type of things, financial literacy, and unfortunately, you know, um, it's not really taught at schools unless like in Maryland, they give you a grade. You get a grade for your school, right? I think Jazz, Jerry, y'all know about this. Like you get a grade for your school, and one of those grades you can get, like one of those things to help your grade go up for your school, is to offer a financial literacy course as an elective, right? And we
Hmm.
literally have that in our curriculum, and the only reason why they offer it is because they want the grade for the school to go up. And you know, I'm not throwing no shade at my school, but I am.
Throw it, because that's terrible. You should just want the kids to have it, because I was
And
doing it anyway.
yeah, and unfortunately, you know, unfortunately, it's a computer led class. Like it's like everything's online, and you know, there's no commentary about what they're learning. You know, even like with saving money, you know how that goes. You know, in real life, right? You can say that you save $300 a month, but it never talks about what if you take $10 out of that savings a month. You know, you're not saving 300 now; you're saving 290. You know, all that type of stuff, and so I know that that was big for me, but yeah, hygiene for sure, man. You have a lot of students that deal with that as well, and like some people just it's like so taboo to talk about it. Like we just have students sit there and children and make fun of them, and
Yep,
Yeah.
you know,
sad. Yeah, I take care of that right
unfortunately.
away, man. When someone's
Yeah,
being made fun of,
Mm-hmm.
like that's
yeah.
I don't
I
wait.
actually learned to bring
I used,
deodorant to school from you. like like I bring deodorant to school, you know, kids, Mr. Jones, you got some deodorant? You know, Mr. Hoke ain't here today. You know, I need some deodorant. I'm like, yeah, let me get some next time, man. And now I do it every year. Like I got a stack of deodorant in my closet.
yeah,
You know, other personal hygiene products. Um, but yeah, like yeah, I wish that stuff was definitely addressed more. All life skills, right?
it's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah, I
sad
have my
that
seniors,
Yeah.
they bring in like pads, tampons, they bring
Mhm.
in toilet paper, well, not toilet paper, toothpaste, toothbrushes, whatever these kids, deodorant, whatever the kids may need at service learning hours. And so I got a whole
Mhm.
closet full of stuff, and they just know they can go right in there. If they need wipes, go there, wipe yourself, freshen yourself up, feminine
Mhm.
wipes, regular wipes, do what you gotta do. So as
yeah,
long as we're making those things available to them and it's not so taboo, they just go in there and just do whatever they need
Yeah,
to do. But
yeah,
we have to create that culture.
yeah. That is a culture. Yeah,
yeah.
it's
I
kind of
would.
sad that I have to teach financial literacy and the history of sports because no other class
Crazy.
offers it. You know.
Crazy. All right, last question. And this is for everybody. What is one piece of advice that you would give to future educators? I'll let y'all process that for a second. I'm gonna play some Jeopardy.
I actually got several pieces of advice for real, because people
But
want to listen to me.
while y'all think about that real quick, I'm gonna play one of my favorite students, and you know what she learned today. This is what she learned.
Listen.
Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. What'd he do? He died for our sins. No, that was
Yes, he did.
I
But all
didn't
right.
hear it.
Oh, you didn't hear it? Oh
No.
man. Martin Luther King Jr. died for our sins. That's what she said. That's what she learned in class. All right. Yeah. So what is one piece of advice that you guys would give to future educators?
Can I give two?
Yes, you can start us
I,
off.
I really want to give two for real. Um, get your master's degree.
Mm,
You'll you will sniff the real money at a master's degree, and then after that, you'll see what happens. So continue your education. And then the second piece of advice: use your time and take them days off.
Mm. FTK.
use your time to take them days off. Definitely.
Me and Jared, we on the same wave. What my piece of advice is leverage your Education with your skills.
Mm.
Like you can make hella money being a contractor. You can make just leverage.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Don't give them too much of the sauce. Just a little taste of
No, keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming.
it.
Advice.
Yeah. One piece of advice you would give to future educators.
If
You want
you're
to know
not
what mine
passionate
is?
about it, don't do it.
Hold on. Say it one more time. Say it one
If
more
you
time.
aren't if you aren't passionate about it, don't do it because the kids are going to be able to tell.
Hmm. They sniff out everything.
Listen,
I would say, be bold and make strong decisions and stick with your decisions. Be flexible, know when things aren't working, and try to move in a different direction. Kids are authentic, so if you're authentic, you'll probably do a lot better.
Mhm. And I'm gonna say one thing. Y'all gotta be patient, especially with those copier machines. Every school I've been at, it's a line for the copier machine. And don't let it jam.
mm,
And you the one that the last person on the machine, it
mm.
was your fault, even though it wasn't. It was yours.
Own it.
Yeah, no, you gotta be patient with all the jams in life, at the copier machine.
I appreciate you all. I want you all to know
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I want to thank you guys so much for coming in and joining the summit, especially because with everybody here it was last minute. But it was. But I appreciate it. I really wanted to do something special for the teachers, and this episode is gonna be dope. And it has been dope. Again, yeah, that's it. After this episode, listen, we're gonna be back on our natural schedule. We got an interview with this dope poet, Kima. Kima's going to be our next episode, so tune in for that. And if you haven't checked out any of our other episodes, make sure y'all go do that. JJ loves to teach. Tuning out. Peace.
Go Mob.
All right.